T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Wow, it's been a minute since Stephanie and I have been here together. Either 1 week I'm here and then Stephanie's not, and then 1 week Stephanie is here, like last week, and I'm not. But we're finally here, back together to cover all things dealing with SmackDown and Rampage. And tonight's show was quite interesting. It was very long. I felt like SmackDown was really long, to be honest. I will say that. If you don't know who I am, my name is Rhea Santana. You're EIC of Women's Wrestling Talk. And of course, right here next to me is Stephanie Hardy, Queen Steph Hardy, of course, my co-host. And we cover SmackDown and Rampage. Yes, we do 2 shows in one. Okay? Just so you know. So when SmackDown is done talked about, we go right into Rampage. But Stephanie, how are you doing? We're back together. You know, it's been a minute.
I'm so glad I'm back with Sin. Oh my God. I know it's been a lot and it's been a while, but life has been lifing and stuff has been popping off. But I'm so glad that we are back together to talk about SmackDown and Rampage, because stuff has just been happening. And it's just, I feel like tonight was just really solid in terms of the content, in terms of both SmackDown and Rampage. So I cannot wait to get into all of it. Like, SmackDown did feel long, but it still felt like it was still pretty good and filled with good stuff. So I'm really excited to get into that, and Rampage too, because stuff happened on Rampage that I'm really amped about, and I just want to talk about it. And I'm glad I get to talk about it with you.
Yeah, of course. But let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I mean, why not start SmackDown off with, of course, a banger like this match here? I mean, we started out SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown, with Sheamus versus Solo Sikoa, the newest member of the Bloodline. And this match was really good. I mean, this match was really good. I will have to say it was a great opening to what transpired last week. If you guys don't know, last week SmackDown was in New Orleans, where I was in the presence of Pete Dunne/Butch. I don't understand. And they had a fatal 4-way match to see who was going to be the one to face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Well, seems like there was a lot of issues and things going on, and it inserted Sammy and Jey Uso to get involved. And this is how we led up to this match here. And I mean, like I said, it started out really great, really good match. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but it seems as if like Jey and Sammy once again still cannot get on the same page at all whatsoever, to the point where they almost called Solo the match, but in actuality, with the assist of having Butch, oh God, I can't believe I'm saying this, having Butch and Ridge Hollins out there, we thought maybe it would have evened out the odds, but it necessarily didn't. Because even throughout this match, you can see the issues still happening with Jay and Sammy, but then they started kind of being on the same page when they got kind of, got rid of the Brawling Brutes. And it was just Sheamus all by himself because they basically threw the whole announce table on top of them and there was no way for them to escape, which left Sheamus kind of all alone. And Sammy, with a little bit of assist or distraction, ended up costing Sheamus the match. And Solo Sikoa ended up taking home the victory. Like we see here. And well, that wasn't the only thing that happened after here. Obviously, they wanted to find a way to get rid of Sheamus. And so seems as if like Jay honestly treated Sheamus' arm like he was hitting Sammy. That's the only thing I can think of because he was going real crazy with the chair shots to Sheamus' arm. And I mean, who knows? What's going to happen with Sheamus. It seems like he could be out with an injury due to the bloodline. And it seems as if like maybe the Brawling Brutes, Pete Butch and Ridge Hollins might be took by themselves, as a bloodline raised terror. So Stephanie, with this being the opening match, seeing how everything went from the beginning up until the end, what are your thoughts?
Well, I feel like this match was really good, and we actually got to see a lot of strategic targeting from Solo Sikoa. Like, he really did target Sheamus's arm, which I feel like was really smart because he is a very strong man. And so it's just like when he uses his arms to either lift you or slam you down, like you feel that. So for him to target his arm like that and then going up against someone who is like a veteran like Sheamus, like that was really good. And he showed that he was able to rise to the occasion of fighting against someone like Sheamus, especially considering Sheamus has been riding this wave of momentum since Clash at the Castle, where he's been beefing with Gunther and beefing with everybody else to prove that he's that guy. But he just couldn't get away from the shenanigans of the bloodline. And even though the bloodline wasn't really all on the same page, it's like they still wanted Solo to win. So they did whatever was necessary in order for him to try to win the match. And they did that. They got rid of Sheamus's team, isolated him in the sense of attacking them, and basically just gave Solo the upper hand, and he was able to win. But I don't want that to take away from Solo's performance at all. It's not like he really needed them to cheat for him, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it didn't help him in the long run in order to win the match. So it was pretty solid. But then at the same time, they were punishing Sheamus, and I'm just like, why are y'all doing all of this to try to like break his arm or break his soul? Like, it was just terrible. And I was just like, dang, y'all really ain't got to go this far. But I thought it was interesting when Jay wanted to take it further, Sammy stopped him, and I was just like, that's interesting, for you to be on the bloodline side, you really did stop Jey Uso from going full mad dog on Sheamus like that. And I think that's a very interesting dynamic. And I feel like it's ultimately going to lead to them fighting for either their place in the bloodline or just fighting each other just because they have all this tension. And I'm ready to see that take place. But either way, you can still see the tension rising little by little. And I'm ready for it. But either way, it was a really solid match and segment, regardless, with these men.
Yeah, I definitely feel like eventually at some point, Jay might be kicked out of the bloodline.
Right.
It's very possible. The way that it's going, the more tense that we see, and a lot of build up and tension with Sammy and Jay, and how Roman treats Sammy versus how he treats Jay, and how everyone else treats Jay versus how they treat Sammy. It's very different. Everyone looks at Jay as like, the hothead, the aggressor. And Sammy looks at the nice guy trying to keep the calm and the peace and the composure with the bloodline, trying to make smarter decisions instead of, acting out of anger, you're not being able to control yourself, and it's starting to really show that maybe Jay is not the problem. Jay's
Right.
trying to bring some fuel to the bloodline. He's trying to to show you guys that, listen, if we're gonna be out here showcasing our dominance while Roman Reigns is not here, then let's show that. But Sam is trying, like, let's make smart decisions. Let's think about this for a second, and it's just like Sammy is really, really bumping himself up to like being like secondary up on the Roman, to be honest. So maybe Sammy is the real right hand man of Roman Reigns. He tried to keep everybody together. Joseph said Sammy kissing enough butt forced Roman to forget he wouldn't have made it to 782 day 782 as a man if it wasn't for Jay. That's very true. But
It's low key looking like that's what's happening. Like
mhm.
Sammy is doing so much, for him and for the bloodline that Roman is really forgetting that Jay is the reason why he's the catalyst for
Mhm.
his dominance. And it's
Yes.
really sad and you hate to see it, but honestly, maybe this will lead to Jay Uso striking out his own again.
Maybe so. I mean, he was main event Jay Uso at one point. He won the what is it, Andre Memorial Battle Royal trophy and everything. Like, he won that and stuff. So it's like, I think eventually at some point, Jay Uso is really going to find his voice to stick up for himself, especially against Roman and the entire
Yes.
bloodline.
Yes. And possibly win an Emmy.
Maybe so. But as we move on within the show, shout out to Rey Mysterio. He is now a newest member of the SmackDown brand. His
Woo!
home where he thrives at the most. I feel like SmackDown is Rey Mysterio's territory.
It is.
It feels just like 2006 all over again. I swear the excitement is crazy. Having a chance to watch this man wrestle for the first time in my life last week in New Orleans, it was amazing. Didn't know he was coming either. So you can't even imagine like being like this close to Rey Mysterio and breathing the same air as him. But someone who else is breathing the same air as Rey Mysterio, uh, Ludwig and Giovanni approaches Ray, who was entering the building. And basically, they kind of make fun of him and try to talk about him and, say all types of things that this is not Rey Mysterio. He's a legend, a future Hall of Famer, a former World Heavyweight Champion, former Royal Rumble winner, etc., etc. And it seems as if like they're trying to downplay Ray as if he had to run away from Raw from his badass son, Dominic, who then fell off and went with the thugs over there, and he can't get himself together and hit on his father and everything, while all the other adults is beating up Dominic, but his dad won't hit him. And so honestly, they said all these type of things and talked about how maybe, if he really thinks he has a chance to go up against Gunther, this is a man who beat the Big Show. Hello? I don't think Ray is scared. But Gunther is different. You know what I'm saying? Although Big Show was giving out big chops and knockout punches, Gunther's a little different. This man's from a different country. He hits harder probably than the Big Show. And I honestly think that Ray might be able to outsmart Gunther and maybe capture the Intercontinental Championship. But Ray wanted to put it to a test, and so he challenged Ludwig to a match later on tonight. And well, we end up getting it later on within the show. But Stephanie, why do you think that Giovanni and Ludwig are trying to downplay Rey Mysterio as if they've forgotten who this man is?
Because they cocky and they've been sipping too much of Gunter's Gatorade, Haterade, whatever. Like, you will not, I don't care what country you're from and I don't care how strong your main guy is in whatever faction. You will not disrespect El Jefe. You will not do that. You will not disrespect El Jefe, okay? Rey Mysterio is the boss. He is the blueprint. He is the reason why so many Hispanic wrestlers today do what they do. Like,
Mhm.
you will not disrespect the icon who literally, is getting his life back. Like, you see that man in that Louis Vuitton hoodie.
Come on.
Like, this man this man has money, okay? Like
It's
from
big.
wrestling all over the world. He is a GOAT. You will not disrespect the GOAT. Like he is the reason you are here. He is the reason you are in this hallway. So you will not disrespect him. I don't care who your leader is, and I don't care how strong he is. Rey Mysterio has beaten bigger men,
He
and he
has.
does not care. He does not care. He will beat you regardless. He'll beat you on any show, house show, like
Mhm.
backyard show, whatever. Don't do him. And Rey Mysterio had everything to prove. And he basically challenged him. He was like, look, if one of y'all got the balls, except he didn't say, he said the Spanish word for it, and I can't repeat it because I don't know what it is specifically. But when he told him that and he held his hand out, you knew exactly what he said. So you know what? Rey Mysterio is never afraid. He has made his career off of fighting bigger men and even smaller men than these two. And they tried it, but they failed miserably. They thought they ate, but they're starving. So stop.
Well, only thing I would say about Ray, I've always been a big fan of Rey Mysterio. Always loved this man. I just wish that he would have this energy to smack his son down. That's all I'm. That's all I'm asking. Like I thought maybe
That part.
all I'm asking. Like I just you just gotta backhand him like one time. He's gonna straighten out. He's gonna get himself together. You won't have anything to worry about. But he won't knock his son down. But he knocked one of them down tonight. But we'll definitely get into it. But getting into more things that happened on Friday Night SmackDown. I mean, we have to talk about Bray Wyatt, who makes his triumphant return at Extreme Rules. And for the first time, we got to see him actually, those with Extreme Rules got to see him for a little bit probably. But for us who was there last week, we got this man to come out, do a full entrance, and he spoke to us or to someone who's controlling him or to himself or to all these other people that we may not know about. All the split personalities that Bray Wyatt may be going through. Yeah, let's go with that. But we get a message from him, and I mean, it seems as if like Bray just basically implied that whatever happens, he's going to follow within the circle, and whatever he does, he will not regret it. Whatever that means, I have absolutely no idea. But I am since I want to say this whole White Rabbit thing has been going on and finally getting Bray back, I feel like there's so much that's about to be built up with Bray and him having this creative control over his character that whatever the outcome is, it's going to be amazing. His promos are already amazing. It's like we're getting into the mind of Bray Wyatt or what we were supposed to have from Bray Wyatt before a lot of different things transpired. And I feel like now we're watching a documentary on Netflix in the minds of I don't want to say like criminal because he's not a criminal, but in the mind of Bray Wyatt. Let's just put it like that. Keep it straight, simple, to the point. And then more things happen within the show. But with this here, Stephanie, when you was watching it, you was hearing all the things that Bray Wyatt was saying. Like, how did you feel after? Like, and then his theme music was playing as he was talking. It just got louder and louder. I'm like, okay, what are we getting at?
Yeah, Sam, I didn't know what to expect because it's just like last week, and I want to talk about this firstly in a very serious light because what he said last week when I watched it was very heartfelt, and it felt like he wasn't even just speaking as Bray, he was speaking as Wyndham Rotunda, the real man. And
Yeah.
I really, felt what he said from within because like I feel like there was levels of realism and maybe levels of fantasy within all of his promo from last week because it
Right.
was just like he was talking about everything that he had to rise above in order to even want to come back because he dealt with so much personally, mentally, and then losing people he was close to. Like there was just so much he was saying that felt like it was coming from a very human place. And then it switched back to the supernatural, and you just never know. You just never know exactly what you're gonna get. So I thought, in this promo, maybe it was gonna be like another bait and switch thing where it was gonna be more supernatural than it was last week. But as it turns out, we still saw this stripped down version of Bray, but then he sounded like he was addressing us halfway, but then a quarter of the way through he was still talking about this dark force too. So it's just like you just never know. And it's just like, Bray, what are you talking about? What is happening? Like, are you gonna eat us? Like, what is going on? What is happening? Like, I just want to know, what exactly is he discussing? Who is he discussing? Is somebody possessing him? Is somebody trying to get back in his evil graces? Like, what is going on? But I'm still intrigued regardless. So I'm ready to go on this ride, even though I hate being scared. But I'm ready to go on it. But either way, oof, Bray is really finna take us through it.
Really
And I'm
is.
excited.
You have no idea. Joseph said, I was thinking it was during this great poem we had another QR code. People figured out and it showed a doctor's order sheet for a mental evaluation of client Bray Wyatt. Yeah, it
Lord.
did. It did, and it had a number on there, and it said if you called, it was like, I think I have it. It said if you call the number, I'm not gonna call it, but
Oh,
it
I'm
said,
gonna call it.
oh my god.
I'm that person.
Me personally, I'm not gonna call it,
Send
but
it to me.
I do remember someone saying it was like not in control, like or something like that. I remember
I'm gonna call
it
it.
showing like that, but it was really really interesting to know that Bray Wyatt was really going crazy like this in this aspect, and it kind of has you wondering like, well, what the hell is going on? But it's like if you call the number you hear not me, I never lose control. That's what you'll hear. I'm not gonna call it because I like to sleep at night. But there were some people who did call the number, and it said not, and he said you can hear it, not me. I never lost control. And so, I mean, as you look at the evaluation sheet, it shows the date of birth, client's like number. It shows refuse to sign, difficulty showing remorse or empathy / conflict with social norms, disregarding of violation of the rights of others, different things like that. It doesn't show his list of diagnoses or anything like that, and a lot of things are really like whitened out and scratched out and everything like that too. So I don't necessarily know what the hell is going on in the mind of Bray Wyatt, but I don't know. But I'm excited to see what transpired. But
I'm gonna call it.
oh my god.
I have to. I'm just that person. I'm the girl who called that number that Johnny Knoxville posted up for Sami Zayn, and it was Sami Zayn's voice on the other end. Like, I am literally that person. I don't. I have to know.
Oh my god.
Like, I just have to play along because it's just cute. I'm gonna call it like right now. I'm putting it on speaker.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! He's saying, "Oh no, not me. I never lost control. Oh no, not me. We never lost control." Oh my god! I'm so excited.
Lord,
I'm ready.
it's like a scene out of a scary movie or a scream.
All right, we can move on. I'm sorry. I
Speaking
just
of
had to do it.
screaming, it's fine. Speaking of screaming, Jey Uso still once again is losing his mind. Once again he is, and everybody, honestly, no lie, looking at this, when Roman is not here, Solo is the leader. Is the leader. The way that they're circling him and hyping him up for winning his match, it's like they are like really treating him like he's like the prince of, or do they have other names within their culture? I don't necessarily know, but whatever is like what you kind of would prefer to someone who's like a little bit under or whatever, the tribal chief or something. But they really are treating Solo like he's Roman. Honestly, and it's like the hype that they're having around him, the way that they like support him and hype him up and cheer him on and say good job and all this and that, while he's like not even in the care of a world of what the hell they're talking about back there. It's the same thing. Will Solo eventually become the trilogy? The hype, the build, the hype of that they're giving Solo, I mean, it's crazy. It really is. Yeah, he definitely has a whole world in his hands, because right now everybody is really in shambles of what the hell Bray Wyatt's gonna do next. Thanks. I really appreciate it. Whatever that means. But Stephanie, I mean, do you feel like oh, okay, so he's my Montai when Roman isn't here. Okay. Interesting enough to say that.
That is a very interesting thought, to interesting way of looking at it, because I never saw it that way, or I never interpreted it that way. I just kind of thought they were just gassing him up because that's their real brother.
Yeah, but in
That's
this
what I thought.
aspect, but in this aspect, you look at it though, they like, I guess it's more so like kind of looking and paying attention how when Roman is around, how they would do Solo versus how Roman is when Roman's not around. They give him the same respect. That, I mean, of course, you know, brothers, siblings, you respect them, but I mean, this is respect on a whole nother level. Like, this is like real gas me up, to be honest. But I don't know. I guess we'll find out what happened next week with these guys. Joseph said that is a great thought. Never thought of it either. I think Roman thinks he can beat Logan Paul without breaking a sweat. That's why he doesn't want the bloodline to touch Logan. He is a joke of a challenger.
Dang.
Well,
tell us how you really feel, Joseph.
Well, Logan Paul is here on SmackDown tonight, and we'll definitely get into him as we get closer within the show. But this is Women's Wrestling Talk, so let's dive into some women's action. Liv Morgan, who jumped off a table last week on Sonya Deville because Sonya Deville was talking trash about her. They face off in a match tonight. It was quite interesting. They have a lot of chemistry. I want to say that they have a lot of chemistry.
I agree.
Do, and we start to see a lot of different changes within Liv Morgan since losing to Ronda Rousey Extreme Rules. She's like smiling, it's a lot of laughter. It's like she's really trying to dive into like enjoying the thought of pain and putting others through pain and things like that. Like she had a lot of laughter. She was getting she was like, getting a little feisty more than usual, seeing a different side of her, to the point where Liv even forgot that there was even a match happening or going on, because she kept banging Sonya Deville's head up against the steps until the 10 count. And after that, we went into another side of Liv Morgan, as she's challenging this side of, really diving deep into like what the hell is going on with Liv Morgan. Like she's turned into like a little Harley Quinn lunatic, if you want to put it that way. I mean, she's attacking attacking people because they talk about her. She's putting them through tables. She's doing a suplex, amongst a bunch of chairs, what she did to Sonya Deville tonight, and she's laughing about it. So I mean, like, what does it say about Liv Morgan? Where is this mind of Liv Morgan is going to, and will we get some answers in regards to all of her actions that has been going on lately? I don't know.
Yeah, Santana. I did not expect Liv to go this way after she lost the title. I thought that, it would break her heart or make her sad, but her going mad was something I was not expecting, but it's something that I love, because it just goes to show, how much more character work she, can do. Like she's experimenting, and I think this experiment is a really good one for her, as opposed to just her being, the resilient, baby face that she had been. Like, oh, I'm gonna, come back for you. No, like this is something else. And I'm actually glad that this is a different type of character turn for her. Like I'm really glad. And it's like she's enjoying the pain. It's almost masochistic to a point. Like she's
Mhm.
really enjoying the pain that people are inflicting upon her, but then she's also showing the pain back.
Yeah.
It's like her eye makeup, to me, it's like her entire outfit gave Harley Quinn, but then
Mhm.
her eye makeup was giving puppet.
Yeah.
And a part of me low
That's
key
controlling.
feels, yeah, like it makes me feel like, oh well, maybe she's a mad puppet. Like, and that's something that I think is really interesting and really different. And even the way that she was wrestling Sonya, like it was sharper and it was more vicious, and even Sonya was doing better. Because even when Sonya was on NXT Tuesday, she was fighting Alba Fyre, and though that match was short, you still got to see a little bit more of her
Mhm.
smoothness and her crispness in the ring. And I did appreciate that from Sonya. I was glad that these two women actually had time, which
Yeah.
is something that a lot of people have been complaining about, with the women's matches not getting enough time here lately.
Yeah.
And they had enough time to tell this story and really show, where Liv's mind is. And even though the match didn't have a conclusive ending, it was still it was still purposeful, and I appreciated that a lot. Liv is crazy, and Sonya might need to be in the hospital for a while. So yeah, I love it.
Nah, she did be. I was reading what Joseph had said. Ronda needed extreme rules to become three-time women's champion and to beat Liv, and she did really beat Liv. But did she really beat Liv? I mean, looking at the match wise, 1, 2, 3, she did. But in the minds of what Liv Morgan was like dealing with or going through, I mean, of course, like, Liv, she now could be considered as a former champion. Who knows where this goes with Liv Morgan? Who knows who her next opponent will be that she will, get mad at and take out because they said something about her, or who she's going to put through a table next, or what else she's going to do. I feel like with Liv, I mean, she already has this look of playing a deranged, like I want to say like horror film character anyway. So I just feel like maybe this is something that she's trying to tap into, a side of Liv Morgan where she already said that, when she was holding the title, she was going to do whatever she can to keep it, and that nobody's going to be able to take this title from her, and so on and so forth. And now that the title has been taken away from her, she's losing her freaking mind. She doesn't know what to do. But people said that she wasn't extreme enough, she wasn't this, she wasn't that, and she's working her way up into showing that she can be that.
Hmm.
Still doesn't make me a fan of her, but that,
I was waiting for that.
that doesn't change. I tell you
I was
what,
about to say Santana. This is different, but
that doesn't. Let me tell you something. I don't give
it's
a
not.
damn if Liv Morgan jumps off the top of the Titantron like Jeff Hardy used to do. It does not. It still does not make me a fan of her. She's
I was
growing,
like,
and a lot of people. Listen, I don't care what she does. It's not gonna make me a fan. But I mean,
well,
hey,
here's the thing, Santana. I thought, since weeks had passed, we started off this segment really well. We were talking about her character change and everything she was doing. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not gonna go that way. And then all of a sudden you were like, it's not gonna make me a fan. And then you went that way.
because I just had to let y'all
Keep
know.
the
Like, listen,
same energy.
listen, it's gonna always be the same. I don't care what she does. Like I said, she can jump off the top of, I don't know, whatever, 18 wheeler, and she can go through
Mhm.
fire, and I would still not be a fan.
And that's fair.
Exactly. It
Fair.
stays the same.
Yes. Same energy.
Shut up. Jalen said, "Listen, Stephanie, Santana Nikki is never going to be a fan of Liv, and that's
I know.
okay. I don't have to be a fan of Liv to talk about what she's doing.
Right.
I'm not bashing her.
Yeah.
Trust me, you're gonna know I'm still not a fan. I can talk good about people. I can, because I mean what she's doing is bringing more of an element of her. She's not as boring as she used to be to me anymore. She's bringing some type of life to her. I live for people who maybe, since WWE might be, doing some things with GCW, maybe Liv will bring out one of them damn light bulbs that they be using and smack somebody on the head over it. Then maybe she might get a woo out of me because and maybe we'll get some blood or something.
Oh Lord,
make them bleed or anything.
Lord.
I don't bash Liv Morgan. I speak what my truth is about her. But we're not. I mean, although this is women's wrestling talk, I don't have to like every woman that I see on my screen. Kudos to what you do in the ring. Don't get me wrong. She's growing. She is, and I mean, she needs this something that she may need to do to really elevate her character. Because to me, she's always been the same. I don't care how many outfit changes she does. I don't care that she took the blue tongue away or the pink tongue away or the red tongue or the pink hair. Liv Morgan will always still end up giving me the same thing. You would get Santana become a fan of someone before Nikki. That's a lot. Because I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns still. And Stephanie is down with the bloodline.
Yeah.
So, but Roman's not here for me to bash him. And he hasn't been doing anything lately for me to bash him anyway. Sometimes I forget he's in here.
But you'll bash him next week, though.
I could have bashed him when he brought his ass to Monday Night Raw, but I didn't. I was like, well, Justin or maybe Liv will bring that Chucky doll to scare the pants off her latest opponent. Well, that's the case. She might well be Lily for Alexa Bliss. If that's the case, maybe Lord. Alexa is controlling Liv Morgan.
That would be a different twist.
It would be. I mean, we haven't seen Alexa in a minute. She's kind of been posting some cryptid photos on her Instagram, on her Twitter, and things like that. So who knows what transpired? Who knows what happened? But we'll definitely find out. But what Liv is about to break out the bag that flopped into the ring with her running around with tussling over it. She is crazy Sting. Yeah, I'm not gonna put her with every Sting, but here we are. We move on to this year, face-off between Omos and Braun Strowman. Wow. We can no longer say that Braun is the monster among men. Omos has stepped into the building. Well, MVP first. But MVP comes out, he talks to, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman said he's not backing down for anybody. He's not scared of anybody. Of course, per usual. And MVP, he comes out, he talks to Braun, about some things that I could kind of care less about because honestly, although I do like Omos, I really don't understand what we're getting here. To a lot of people, just a bunch of big meaty men slapping meat or whatever. But to me, I feel like maybe Omos would give me a nip up. But back to Monsters Among Men. Omos steps to the ring and he towers Braun Strowman. He makes Braun Strowman look about 6'1". The height difference is crazy. It's not too off, but you can obviously see that there's a huge height difference. Because Braun, I think, is like 6'8", and Omos is like 7 feet, basically, and crazy tall in person too. But the height difference is crazy, and of course, there's a challenge being offered for Crown Jewel for Braun versus Omos in a match, and it has been confirmed it will happen at Crown Jewel, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be getting Braun Strowman and Omos, and I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't, but I'm not mad. But I guess I kind of see how this goes. I knew eventually we would get to this point where we would have, Braun versus Omos. I mean, Twitter's been going crazy talking about it anyway, so I knew that at some point we was going to get to this. But Stephanie, are you interested in seeing this match transpire at Crown Jewel or seeing how this feud between these guys, go over the next course of the weeks?
I'm interested in it due to the spectacle of it,
Mm-hmm.
because what I will say is I never thought that I would ever see anybody tower over Braun Strowman. We've only ever seen Braun Strowman be bigger than everybody else.
Yeah.
I was literally in shock to see Omos stand head and almost shoulders above this man. Like, I couldn't deal. And MVP is proving, to still be that guy when it comes to being a manager for black male talent in this way. And I really love how he puts Omos over, in the promo beforehand, even though Braun wasn't really in the mood to hear it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the thing that worries me a little bit with Omos is just the fact that we haven't really seen him wrestle as much since the regimes have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've only seen him, like, pop up every now and again, but not really wrestle. But that's not to say that he hasn't gone off and improved. Because of course, sometimes when you don't see people, that usually means they're either working on something or they're maybe getting, training in another area, which is fine. But I
Yeah.
just worry for him in terms of his experience, because clearly Braun Strowman has the experience and the power.
Mm-hmm.
But if Omos really did hone in on his skill and while using his power and actually like honing it in for skill, he would be a really great competitor too. But I just don't know. I don't know where his skill level is at this point and if it would match up against someone like Braun and make it an enthralling match. But this match is good for the spectacle because these men are huge. So, um, I'm I'm on the fence about it, but I know I'm gonna still watch it regardless. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be quite interesting to see, how this match transpired. I mean, Omos, he had, a squash match just as much as Braun had a squash match last week. So I mean, I guess, well, we've seen Braun wrestle. We know his wrestling ability. I mean, we've seen Omos wrestle, but I don't think to his full potential yet. So I
Right.
mean, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows when it transpire? But at Crown Jewel, we're definitely going to be getting this match. Another match that we're going to be getting: Drew McIntyre challenges Karrion Kross to a match at Crown Jewel in a steel cage match. Um, I guess maybe, it seems as if like Drew is not happy at the fact that what happened at Extreme Rules with Scarlett spraying him in the face with, I guess, pepper spray or something. I don't know what happened, but whatever it was, she sprayed him and the man went blind for a few seconds. But last week, I mean, Drew definitely got his revenge, or I say, but this match has been made official. It will be Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre in a steel cage match at Crown Jewel. Does this put an end to Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre, or is this just the beginning for right now?
I feel like this might be the end of it, but because I was wondering if this was going to be their final chapter, a part of me thought that Drew was going to challenge him to a Hell in a Cell match. Like, I really did think like maybe he would say Hell in a Cell,
Mhm.
but when he said steel cage, that feels pretty, final as well. So
Yeah.
hopefully, once they fight in this steel cage in Saudi Arabia, that'll be it for it. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. But it seems like that match really might be, it could be it for them, but you just never know.
That's true. I definitely agree. Joseph said this will be a test to see how Kieran performs without Scarlett there to bail him out like she did in the strap match. That
Absolutely.
is very true.
Unless she finds a way to get under there.
That is also true. Listen, the lights go black, and then the next thing you know, Scarlett's in the ring, and here we are.
Well, that is a crafty woman.
Very much so. Speaking of another crafty person, Logan Paul makes his arrival to the arena. And he's, of course, going to be closing out Friday Night SmackDown in a one-shot way, if you catch my drift. But once again, this is Women's Wrestling Talk, so let's dive into the women's because we ended up getting of course, women's tag team championship match happening tonight. Dems controls Io Sky and Dakota Kai versus Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi Blackheart. or just Shotzi, because they obviously just everybody just don't have black hearts around here. But this match was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it to the point where, maybe, Shotzi and Raquel could have taken home the victory, but I didn't think that Dakota and Io's reign as champion was going to end that soon. But then again, I mean, Raquel and Aaliyah's reign ended pretty quickly. So, but I knew that eventually somewhere down the line those titles were going to end up on Io and Dakota Kai. Even with the assist of Bayley being interference out there as well, pretty much you could say Bayley assisted, Io and Dakota on keeping those titles, since obviously, what they try to help her get the title from Bianca Belair, that was a failure. And well, we do know that Bayley will face Bianca on come Monday. Don't necessarily know if it's for the title or whatnot. I think they just kind of said it was gonna be one last time in the video promo they had for it. So I don't know, but Damage Control ended up retaining their titles. And Shotzi and Raquel go right back home and start back over. So who do you think gonna be the next opponents for Damage Control? Like, who we don't really have that many tag teams like that for women like that anyway, or though we haven't been seeing them. So I mean, who could be, Damage Control's next opponents, Stephanie? And also, what did you think about the match?
Well, first off, I love the match. Here again, this was an improvement because they were allowed to tell a story as well in the ring, and they had more time. And of course, when you give these women more time, they're going to put on a show, and dang it, they did. You had Shotzi acting like the wrecking ball that we know her to be in this match. You got her tank out there, and I will always love her tank. The taking care of business tank is everything. It's goated. I love it. And then you had Raquel, of course, powering people up, but then also utilizing her height to sort of hold up Shotzi to actually like give her leverage to roll onto Damage Control, like outside of the ring and inside of the ring. Like they had all kinds of maneuvers. They were using each other like machines, and it was really cool. And you had Damage Control sort of doing the same thing with the assist of Bayley out there, which of course, I mean, she don't know how to stay out of anybody's business, but that's another story for another day. This match was as good as, any tag team match that you could ask for, honestly. And it was a couple times where I really thought like maybe Shotzi and Raquel could win it. But like I said, Bayley was Bayleying, and that is basically what sort of wrapped it up for them, along with Io. There was this other really cool spot where Io hit this DDT from the top rope. Like, I believe it was onto Shotzi or Raquel. Like, that was sick. I was just like, these women are amazing. Like, they're so gifted, and I just loved every inch of this match. But a part of me really did want for Shotzi and Raquel to win, because Shotzi with the tag titles on NXT Halloween Havoc tomorrow night would have been cool as the co-host. But at the same time, she doesn't really look bad at having lost this match, and neither does Raquel either. So it's fine. This I wasn't prepared to really see Damage Control lose that quick either. But either way, it was a really great back and forth. I love this match. And I don't know exactly who could challenge him outside of, Damage Control, like coming up and posing another challenge with them, or like, I don't know. It's hard to tell with the main roster because it's really not that many teams. It's hard.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's a little difficult trying to figure it out, but who knows? I mean, of course, we know they're going to find a way to try to interfere to assist Bayley with, winning her match with Bianca Belair come Monday. But we'll definitely find out. Speaking of finding out more things, we did get to see the SmackDown Women's Champion, or the SmackDown Champion, because obviously she wants to get rid of the women inside of the champion name or whatever. I don't know. But Ronda will be issuing out a open challenge when she feels like it. And Ronda is definitely tapping into her heel side, something that she said that she always wanted to do when she came back. But of course, when Vince McMahon was there, he only wanted her to be a baby face. He wanted her to smile. And Ronda kind of just felt as if like she wanted to be a heel. She wanted to go into being a heel. And so it's just that. And so, I mean, like, why not let Ronda tap into being a heel? And it kind of works. I guess I would need to see more of Ronda being a heel to see if it's going to work. You know what I'm saying? So, who do you think is going to accept the open challenge next week? I personally might think it could be Shayna Baszler, someone who we haven't seen in a minute. You know, maybe she'll want to step up to the plate. You know, I know Ronda did face Natalya in a dark match. So who knows who could be that open challenger? Maybe it could be Mia Yim, since people are saying that she's been having talks with, WWE lately since she's no longer in Impact Wrestling. So I mean, who could it be? Could it be the Queen, Charlotte Flair, making her long way to return? Could be Liv. It could be Lacey. It could be somebody from NXT. It could be anybody.
It could be Mercedes.
Yeah, I don't think she's coming back.
It could be Trinity. I don't know.
Is when they'll make their long way to return, maybe. Who knows?
But if it's Mia, then I will lose my mind. Just like, oh my God. I feel like this year is the year I worked with and took pictures with people, and then they popped up on television again. And we'll talk about one later on. But if it's Mia Yim, I would lose my entire mind, because I just feel like she really didn't get an opportunity to really run like she could have on the main roster outside of Retribution. So if it is Mia, I will lose it, because I love her. She's so sweet.
Everything,
yeah, she's everything, and I would love it.
Yeah,
but yeah, if it's Charlotte, that would be cool too. But then a part of me almost feels like maybe she would go back to Raw, because Bianca needs one more horsewoman to beat. So
she don't get it. Trust me, she is. Joe said technically Mia is done this week after her match with Taylor Raw aired. Yep, she is. Mia Yim is officially done with Impact Wrestling for now. Fine. I gotta troll. I gotta up the troll. It's gonna be Eva Marie or Chelsea Green. Please leave Eva Marie where she is. I don't mind Chelsea. I don't mind Chelsea Green, because Chelsea Green is cool. Please leave Eva Marie where she is. She had me ready to pull up to her house because she talking about something she could be a part of the Wyatt Six. Like, girl, please. Joseph said Trinity has a better chance of coming back than Mercedes does. That is true. That is very true. But right now, I think the girls are just chilling, doing their runway fashion shows and everything like that. But we'll definitely find out next week who is going to be accepting Ronda's open challenge. Definitely find out. But let's move on within the show, because before we got to someone who we talked about on the Women's Wrestling Talks Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and website, of course written by Stephanie here. We got this QR code that everyone was talking about that did include the psychiatric evaluation of Bray Wyatt, as well as the number, but also this face here from like World War One, I want to say. And we also got this here that a lot of people were really talking about. Nobody knows who this is or could this be, but I think it could be Uncle Howdy.
Who is Uncle Howdy?
Yeah, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. But people just kept putting on Twitter Uncle Howdy or Uncle Howdy. Don't really know. I have absolutely no idea.
I have a thought though.
I know it's not Hulk Hogan, Terry.
Well, definitely not. But I have another thought. I know the first time I saw that mask that Bray Wyatt had.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have been comparing it to another horror thing. But the first time I saw that mask, it reminded me of the video game Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
And how some of the samurais in the game will wear these different masks with different designs in them. And the first time I saw that mask, I
Mm-hmm.
thought about that video game. And it's just that seeing this picture kind of up close, it almost looks like it could be a mysterious samurai or something.
That is true.
So it's just like, is he like channeling that, or is he doing something else? Like this looks like this is someone that could have been like like a mysterious samurai that's tried to take control or something. Like I don't know, but I don't even know if that's even a problematic thought. But either way, I just I don't know. That's just connection I'm making in my head. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't,
it's weird.
I don't know. I just feel like with this, it really caught a lot of people's attention, trying to figure out exactly what could it mean. Where is it coming from, and what are we supposed to do with this type thing. You know what I'm saying? So I guess like we're on this journey and road of Bray Wyatt and the things that he has planned for us. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure eventually, somehow down the way, we're going to find out who all these people are that Bray Wyatt has been doing some things with. But let's move on within the show. Of course, we are here for Legado de Fantasma, newest member Zelina Vega, who they acquired, Queen Zelina. There is a top 5 moments of Zelina Vega on our website as of right now, and it was written by, of course, Stephanie here. Did a great job on it. Zelina actually did like it, the post and everything of being shared. So shout out to Stephanie for doing an amazing job on this. And yeah, I mean, I know top 5s can be very intense to narrow it down to 5 things. So I definitely can understand that. But wow. I mean, Legado de Fantasma basically said that they're here to take over SmackDown, and they're going to start with getting rid of Hit Row. And if you know, last week, I can't think of their names. I know one of them is Joaquin, and I don't know what the other one name is. I can't remember because they barely even said their names a lot. But they were in a tag match last week against Ashanti Diodonis and Top Dollar, which they end up losing, and Legado de Fantasma ended up scoring a win. Which honestly, if I had the video pulled up, I would show you guys my reaction of how I was when I saw Hit Row loss. And honestly, this is where we get into the point where we're rehashing a feud that happened. It took place at NXT, and afterwards, I couldn't. Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much, Joaquin Wild and Cruz, representing all that last week and everything, and they ended up picking up the win over Hit Row. So after this, because I couldn't capture a photo of Hit Row looking at the screen of Legado de Fantasma talking, but it seems as if like B-Fab has something under her sleeve to maybe possibly even out the odds with Legado de Fantasma. I don't know who they might acquire. They may acquire, let's say Angelo Dawkins, someone who is a little freely as of right now because Montez Ford is currently injured. Don't really know who else they could acquire.
Oh, I know.
Who?
I have a prediction of who else they could possibly acquire.
Who?
What if it's Carmelo Hayes?
No. See,
no.
Nope.
No.
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 I don't like that. No.
Why not?
He don't need to be with them. Carmelo's a star within his own right, and he don't need to be with people who losing. No.
I mean, he is a star in his own right, but if he is with Hit Row, it doesn't necessarily dim his star. I'm
To
just
me,
saying, like if they recruited him, it would fit the aesthetic. And that's not to say that Angelo Dawkins wouldn't fit the aesthetic because he has been tied with them as of late, recently. But at the same time, if it was, Carmelo Hayes, if they wanted to go in the NXT waters, like I feel like that would work.
No. That's a hard pass for me. I don't want Carmelo nowhere near Hero. By no means necessary. They can go acquire anybody else. Leave Carmelo Hayes where he is. Please. That's all I'm asking. Do not bring him with them people. Okay. Do not.
Okay. Okay, I respect that, but what I will say is this though. Seeing Zelina come back because she did come back while I was in New York. Funny enough. Um um I was so excited to see that she was back with them because I just thought it was something cool and different. A part of me was like, "Oh, what if she comes back, as an athlete?" But then seeing her come back as sort of like the I don't know what to really express the as the manager of Legado del Fantasma, that was really like a shot in the arm that I feel like was really good and was really cool for them. Even though I love Elektra Lopez, like don't get me wrong, but Zelina is really that girl, and a part of me low key felt the way when, well, not a bad way, but a really good way when Zelina was talking and she was saying that she is good at everything. Because in my article, I literally said that she's a tag team specialist, a manager, and all these different things. And I was just like, does she really think? Did she? Okay, but I had to hold myself in because you just never know. But either way, it was just really good to see her tonight. I was just like, oh my god, yes, Selena, yes. And then to be on there on her Queen anniversary when she won Queen's crown at Crown Jewel last year, and with her having the crown that she has on social media, it's just amazing. I love that woman so much. And it was just easy to write about her because she's amazing to me. So I just love her. And I'm just really happy that she's succeeding and on television again.
Yeah, I mean, we all know she was dealing with an injury, so it's nice to see her, be back. She fits really well with Legado del Fantasma for what I've seen thus far. I know that Elektra Lopez is out with an injury, so I mean, but it doesn't necessarily say that Elektra could not be added to what's already created here. You know, saying
Mhm.
nothing, not saying that she could not be, but at this time, I mean, as of right now, we don't necessarily know if they're going to be adding Elektra to them. I mean, because she did get in the car with them, so it's not like she got left behind or anything. But she knows she did get in the car with them, and stuff like that. So I mean, hey, maybe she'll pop up real soon. Who really knows? To be honest. But let's move on within the show because guys, we got a few more things to discuss. We got Rey Mysterio and Luke Wood in a match. And because of, you know, for as long as Eddie Guerrero has been gone, his antics always manage to pop up in matches. And with an antic, like, of course, the classic, throw the chair shot, smack the ground, and fall down, and I'm hurting type thing, it never ceases to, fail when you're trying to get rid of two people who are outside the ring being a distraction or they can harm you in any kind of way to help the person that you're facing. And so it happened tonight. Of course, you see the chair laid there and Ray laying on the ground, and then they're trying to explain to the ref that, we didn't do anything, we didn't hit him or anything like that. And, the ref, of course, do the finger roll, get on out of here, to the back you go, get out. And it assisted with getting rid of Gunther and Giovanni so that Ray could pick up the victory over Ludwig, like 2 weeks before Rey Mysterio, 2 weeks out before Rey Mysterio actually faces Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Yep, that is true. Found out November 4th, Rey Mysterio will challenge Gunther for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Note that next week in St. Louis will likely be a double taping due to them being in Saudi. Also, it's on FS1. That is very, very true. Stephanie, what did you think about this match here? Ray is starting to build a lot of momentum. It's starting to feel really fresh and new for Ray down here. He's kind of like on a winning streak, you can say that.
Yeah, I loved it. And then watching him come out in his gear, which felt very Macho Man Randy Savage, was really cool too.
Yeah.
And just seeing him channel Eddie is just, it's always like a welcome vibe because I miss him so much. And just to see his best friend paying tribute to him, in various ways, like it never fails. And I never get tired of it no matter what. So seeing him do that, just reminds me of what Los Guerreros used to say. They used to say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And Rage was trying. So he did that. Like, he really did that. And I appreciated the way that he won the match. So I'm really happy that Ray won and he has this momentum going into fighting Gunther. Because it's like I said earlier, he ain't scared. He's not scared. He's faced bigger. Like my dad said, he faced Kevin Nash in WCW. This man ain't scared of nothing. So I'm glad and I'm really happy for Ray.
I agree. Shout out to Ray for picking up the win tonight. Spanner's on a winning streak. Don't know what's going to happen within 2 weeks out when he faces Gunther, but I don't know. Maybe Ray might win and get him a few gold, or maybe, Judgment Day could come down here and, continue
They
to
mess
with Ray. I will hope not, but, I love Damian Priest and I love Finn and I love Rhea. Dominic, I want to punch him in the face because what are you doing? You don't disrespect your father like that. Okay? Thank you very much.
Exactly.
But let's move on before we close out SmackDown and we dive into Rampage. Of course, for next week, SmackDown will be on FS1. We're going to have Ridge Hollins and Pete / Butch versus Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa in a tag match because of what happened earlier within SmackDown. Then, of course, Roman Reigns, he returns next week. Ronda Rousey has an open challenge. Who's going to accept it? Who knows? Don't really know. But all that is happening next week on FS1 for SmackDown is taking place in St. Louis. As we move on to who closed out the show, Logan Paul. He comes out. Of course, he still talks about Roman Reigns and what's going to happen at Crown Jewel, how he's been training with Shawn Michaels. And Roman responded to a tweet that was showcasing some pictures of Logan Paul working with Shawn Michaels to get ready for Crown Jewel. He said that he's going to need God to help him defeat me, basically. So, and even within the night, I mean, Sammy, he's tried to tell Jay, like, don't go out there and do anything to Logan Paul. Roman has said that those are getting orders, etc. Was the crowd accepting a Logan Paul? Was it all boos? I mean, well, he was in pretty much his home state. He's in Ohio, guy. So, I mean, he's in his home state, hometown. So, I mean, people were cheering him. I mean, don't you see these people here with their hands out and yelling and screaming with their mouth open? I mean, I know this is only one side of the angle, but he had the crowd. They were here for him. But Jey Uso, because he's so freaking hard-headed, was not Paul. And he comes out here and he basically attacks Logan Paul, even though Sammy told him not to. And I mean, he has Logan Paul in the corner like he got some issues going on here. And Sammy, he comes out and he says, listen, Sammy comes out and he tries to tell Jay, like, what are you doing? You have to stop. Roman is going to be very upset at what you're doing. You have to stop. But when we thought that Jey Uso was going to be exiting the ring, he tries to go back for more. And well, Exhibit A, this is what happens when you don't really listen, Jay. You get one shot, you get punched out or hitting your shoulder by Logan Paul and you fall out. And this is what we get. And, you laid out now you're adding more embarrassment to the bloodline, Jay, because you don't listen. I be trying to root for you, Jay. I really do. And when you do things like this, you're embarrassing me. Okay, you are. And so Sammy, he looks stressed out. They're gonna hear that Roman is definitely not gonna be happy about what happened tonight. Not at all. But who's very happy? Logan Paul. Because he left in all smiles as we close out Friday Night SmackDown. So Stephanie, I mean, do you think Jay was right for what he did? Or do you think he should have listened to Sammy? Or, that's crazy.
First of all, Jay is really never going to listen to Sammy. first of all, because he's a hot-headed man and he wants to be out here and prove that the bloodline is here, is here and not here to play no games. And he really wanted to show that by beating Logan Paul's butt. But I feel like with that hot-headedness, all it's going to do is make stuff worse for him, and Roman isn't gonna like it, and he's gonna fuss at him and talk about, him not following his orders or whatever. And it's not gonna work. And it's just gonna be really sad for Jay because he really does try. He tries so hard, and I feel, he has really good intentions, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So Jay really should have just chilled out, but at the same time, usually when it comes to segments like this, you expect the champion to come out or the champion's cronies to come out and attack the challenger. So it made sense. But at the same time, Jay probably should have chilled. Also, I want to say Paul Heyman responded. They said on commentary that Paul Heyman responded on Twitter to what Roman Reigns said about, training with God.
Mhm.
And they said that Paul Heyman said that, well, you're God, so he can't train with you, and you're the one with all the belts. And I'm just like, Paul Heyman, if you don't calm down, God does not dress like that. God, calm down, like calm down, Paul. Like I love Roman and I love the bloodline, but God, no. Chill out, chill out. But either way, it's kind of clear that Logan Paul was enjoying, watching the bloodline kind of fall apart in this sense. But yeah, I know next week is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be ugly. And Sammy really did look like that child. It was just like, oh, you gonna be in trouble.
Ooh, I'm telling.
Mm-hmm.
Child. It's not gonna be nice. Yeah, Paul definitely lays out Jay. It's definitely not a good look. Definitely not a good look.
Mm-mm.
Joseph said, "How weird would it be if Roman's 800-day reign ends as a result of a social media personality?" And yes, this is how Logan's being billed for this match as a social media personality. Yeah, he is. Joseph, JD said, "I would be 100% done with WWE," and then Joseph said, "That's a bit extreme." Well. I don't know what's going to happen with this match with Roman and Logan Paul. I feel like it's going to be a bunch of entertainmentness going on here. And, well, all I can say is let's hope for the best. I feel, honestly, truly, depending on how this happens, if let's just say if Roman says that, you know what, Jay, you're banned from ringside. You are not allowed to come out. Only Sammy, Jimmy, and Solo can come out with me. You will be the person to cost me this match. I don't need you out here. And then Jay Uso still comes out. But who knows? Who knows what happens? Who knows what transpires? But Jay Uso is definitely in a lot of trouble, and we'll definitely hear about it come next week. But ladies and gentlemen, that was a SmackDown, of course, but we're not done yet because, of course, right after SmackDown, we have to jump right into Rampage, and this is where Stephanie takes over, and I sit here and I shut the hell up.
Well, you ain't gonna shut up. First of all, you gonna talk, but I'm just gonna go into it first, okay? So this episode of Rampage was in Jacksonville, which is basically like their home turf because y'all know TK, not our TK, but Tony Khan, is also, I believe, a part owner or basically does own the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mhm.
So they were at Daly's place, which is basically sort of like AEW's breeding grounds, which is where they started and stuff. So they were back there for Rampage. And this immediately started, the show started with a tag team. Well, yeah, a tag team championship match between the Acclaimed, of course, who are the champions, versus the Varsity Athletes as Tony Nese and Josh Woods, along with Smart Mark Sterling out there. And of course, if you've been watching AEW, you know that these two have been going back and forth. And Smart Mark Sterling bought the rights to the Scissor Me Daddy phrase and basically was making the Acclaimed's life a living heck for all of maybe 2 or 3 weeks with this. And he was saying y'all can't say this, but we can, and we stole it from y'all. And they basically had T-shirts and everything. But of course, when people take things, it's not as fun and it's not as seasoned. So that's what was going on. The scissor me thing isn't funny with when it's the varsity athletes. But of course, they came out there with a rap, and he mentioned something about Kanye West and um something about ratings as well, because Joseph is in the comments talking about it. But either way, that's what happened. But outside of that, um the match was really good. The match was really good. You got to see a lot of the abilities. It seemed like what it's like the acclaimed had power and wittiness on their side, but then at the same time the varsity athletes are really stellar athletes that use a lot of their quickness and agileness in this match. It was really good. I enjoyed it, and I was really scared because there was a couple of times where I thought Tony Nese was really about to cover Anthony and it was about to be over with, and then the trademark was going to be theirs and the titles. But thankfully that didn't happen. The acclaimed won, even though the referee actually ejected Billy Gunn or whatever. But still, the acclaimed wound up retaining their titles and getting their trademark back. And they also kept their promise earlier in the night to say that they were going to stomp Smart Mark Sterling in the nuts. Like, stomp him in the nuts, stomp him in the nuts. Like that song, that's exactly what they did to him. And it was hysterical as all get out. So, Santana, how did you feel about this match?
I don't even know. So, a lot of times on Wednesdays with AEW, I work at a radio station after work. And so, a lot of times I don't get a chance to watch Dynamite. So a lot of times I miss a lot of things that do happen on Dynamite. And I never knew there was a trademark issue going on here, or when he does. I don't know why he would want to have this trademark of Scissor Me Daddy ass or whatever. I don't. The whole thing is very chaotic. I will say that, and I didn't think the Acclaim was going to lose their titles anyway. I really did not think that was going to happen. So I had no. I didn't have any like doubt that the Acclaim was going to lose. I thought the match was really good. It was a nice way to open up the show. Quite entertaining throughout. Smart Marks. He's a lovely suit. I will say that the pink suit was giving. You would have thought that maybe he was a part of the Acclaim with the pink suit. He looked really nice. But unfortunately, hope he gets some ice for his area down there because it's a little crushed. But nonetheless, it's just quite interesting to see, the Acclaim as champions. I think that is great. I think that they well deserve these titles, and I mean they're having some really interesting title defenses happening since they've won these titles against Swerve In Your Glory. So I mean, whoever the next opponents are going to be, or if this feud continues to happen with his name Josh Woods and Tony Nese, it could happen, but I don't know. Lady said crushed ice for crushed nuts, and that's exactly what happened. That's what you need.
It was hysterical. But moving on from that, we got an appearance from Miss TBS champion herself, Jade Cargill, who threatened to basically sit throughout the entire Rampage episode until she got her TBS title back from Miss Nyla Rose, who I know Santana was really pushing to be the next person to challenge her for the TBS title. And Jay was not in the mood to play. Like in this promo, she was basically saying like it was an insult to her that Nyla Rose took the title from her and she will not stop until she gets the title back. She was bullying Tony Schiavone and she looked like an amazing chocolate bar wrapped up in golden Christmas wrapping. I just wanted to say that because she really did look great. And then she walked away and stormed off, in anger. And I would be angry too if someone stole something that I basically worked for and won, but then you're just running off and playing with it like you just don't take it seriously or don't take me seriously. It's disrespectful. But Santana, how did you feel about this segment?
Honestly, I don't think people understand like how much I have been wanting to have a feud for Nyla and Jade. And I'm happy that they are actually doing a build for it. And it's not just, well, okay, she took my title. Now we're going to wrestle next week for it. You know, they're actually taking their time building up this feud with Jade and Nyla. Something that like I said, I've been asking for. I've always said that give me Jade and Nyla, give me Nyla and Jade, give me Nyla and Jade, give me Jade and Nyla. Been asking for that, and now that it's happening, and it's a lot of jokes and shit happening with Jade. She's not playing around. She's very upset, and Nyla is out here holding her title hostage and playing around. Jade says, I gave you Layla because, well, we'll find out what happened with Penelope before later. But Jade wants her title back, and I think that Jade is gonna get her title when it's time to face Nyla Rose. That's all I'm gonna say.
She just might. And honestly, we will get further into this later, but I am glad that they are stretching this out and making it, a more creative, funny thing. As opposed to just doing, the regular thing and just feeding opponents to her to beat. So I am enjoying this component of it in terms of Rampage and Dynamite as well. So moving on, moving forward, I be feeling so sorry for Tony Schiavone though. He be getting bullied and he don't
He
deserve
is bullied by everybody.
it. He don't deserve it.
You're like, that man just trying to do his job. Okay.
Exactly. Like he is the goat. Like he is one of the goats, guys. Like let's not bully Tony, okay? So moving on, we did have this segment backstage with all of these men being absolutely concerned about the anger of Eddie Kingston. But it looks like as they were asking about Eddie Kingston and speaking to him, because I believe this is Ortiz standing next to him, and then you have the trios champions asking about him and stuff like that. But then after all this happens and Eddie Kingston is sort of staring at them like, bro, like what do y'all want? Pac comes in and he actually says something to him, and Eddie doesn't like it. He looks like he wants to fight, but Ortiz sort of pushes him back and says, look, don't do it, leave him alone. And then that's really where it ended. I'm a little bit lost about this storyline right here because I believe somehow or another I missed this component, so I don't know what this story is. But Santana, could you shed some light?
Well, Eddie, who's somebody who's on another list of people that I just don't care for.
Yes, I
know. Eddie, he just been having a lot of anger issues. He's been getting very out of control, and the people around him, they just kind of care for his safety or care for the way that he's been acting. It's like, honestly, truly, the way that Eddie acts is the same way how the bloodline looks at Jade. The same thing, hot-headed, big temper, always want to fight somebody, always just ready, like he's ready to fight Pac. You just want to fight, and his friends, they care for his safety, they care about his anger, they want him to kind of, get some help or something to kind of, calm down a bit and go back to the Eddie that he used to be. And it's just like Eddie's not listening, or he's just like, whatever, I don't know what you guys talking about. And so here we are here with a little, I guess maybe they're going to have an intervention for Eddie Kingston soon. Hopefully they tell the man to go home or something, but who knows? Joseph said, I missed it too. Where does this come from? Who would be the third to join Eddie and Ortiz? Well, I don't know. I don't know who the third would be, because Santana seems to be, doing his own thing or nothing at all. And he doesn't really talk to Ortiz like that. Him and Eddie are really not on the best of terms either. So I doubt that in real life at that. So and Eddie's not on good terms with a lot of people in real life. Let's be honest. But who knows what happens and so on and so forth. But maybe somewhere down the line, Eddie comes to his senses and maybe he gets back to normal for those who care about him. But for me, I don't care what he does.
All right. And I respect all of that. But moving forward, we did have another match for the FTW Championship. So we had, of course, the cold-hearted, handsome Devil Hook versus the Trustbusters, Ari Daivari. And As this match got started, Ari Daivari was already in the ring as Hook made his entrance. And before the match got started, Ari Daivari got on the microphone and was talking about how he offered Hook an exorbitant amount of money, $50,000 for possession of the title. And this kind of upset me because I'm just sitting here like, bro, you can't just buy a title off somebody. That's not how wrestling works. So clearly he tried one more time and he said, well, maybe if you don't deal in, like card or direct deposit, then maybe you like cold hard cash since you're a cold hearted devil, right? So he offered him cold hard cash, or what we thought was cold hard cash. It looked real to me, but then again, I get my money wired, so I don't know. So I have direct deposit, so I really don't know. But at the same time, it looked real to me. But then Hook wasn't having it. He slapped the money out of his hand and then he started hitting him. But the thing about this match is it's very different from other Hook centered matches where Hook kind of just throws somebody around and then he beats them, or submits them in a matter of seconds. Ari Daivari was proved to be a pretty formidable opponent for him, even though the match was still relatively short. He had a lot going on and he controlled like the pace for the first few parts of it, and they did all kinds of different things, but in the end Hook wound up submitting him and he wound up tapping out on top of all of that money because they didn't sweep that money out of the ring. And he also wound up beating up on Jeeves, who I believe is also, the butler for Ari Daivari. So that happened and Hook basically celebrated winning his title back. So that's pretty much the end of that. So, Sam, how did you feel about this?
I mean, it was nice that, like you said, Hook did have a longer match. A lot of time, Hook matches are very squashed, and very short too. So, I mean, Ari Daivari, he's an amazing talent, amazing character, and for him to try to offer him this little monopoly money that he has going on down here, it looks like something he probably got off Amazon or something to kind of show for. Me personally, if I was a champion and somebody offered me $50,000, you can have this title. you can have this title, honey. I can go home after this. You know what I'm saying? I can go to bed. I can go do something else. But nah.
You could buy you a replica.
A couple of them, obviously.
Yeah, you could buy you a replica title if you want.
A couple. Honestly, a couple. But it's nice to see Hook actually have longer, lengthier matches because it allows you to at least see that he can wrestle and that he has some type of wrestling ability. Despite his previous competitors that he's had, and this was a fairly good match. It was a nice way to close out and end it. With locking in the sleeper as well as on the butler too, who was out there trying to interfere as well. So it was a great way to close out this, and Hook is still holding the title. So shout out to Hook. Maybe he'll get some more different opponents, as well as he continues to hold this title. Because at one point I forgot he was even holding this title. I forgot that he even exists. I was like, dang, everybody was so Hook this, send Hook. It was a lot of hype around Hook. And now it's like we barely even see him. So
that's funny. And then something else about the Trustbusters that I am not beginning to understand is just the fact that Sonny Kiss joined them, and where has she been?
That is a good question.
Why hasn't she been featured more?
A lot of times more so she'll be featured on like Dark. Sometimes she'll be on TV with them since she's kind of joined them. But sometimes she would be on Dark a lot. And I want to say she was on there on Dynamite either a week ago or two. I want to say, I can't necessarily, don't quote me, but I think so. I mean, she's been seen, but not as often as you would think, So I don't know.
Yeah, I think, okay. I'm not going to say anything just yet. But moving forward, we did have this bizarre of a segment, and as much as I love Matt Hardy from a, of course, obvious place, this segment was weird. But it wasn't weird because I know why it happened, but part of me was like, you had Ethan Page and Stokely Carmichael sort of addressing the idea that that Matt Hardy got his contract bought and also Private Party. And as they were addressing it, Matt Hardy started rapping. And I know that Matt Hardy is one of the wrestlers in our lives that has a tendency to go in and out of different personalities in wrestling and actually keeps it fresh. But I was not expecting him to rap. This was not something that I was full on expecting. But like once it happened, I was like, did that really just happen? But he did that. And as you can see, Stokely was looking confused. I was bewildered, and it was just odd. So I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I didn't. When he started rapping, I was kind of like, "What?" I thought maybe this was just his way of trying to like talk within a character format. But like I said, when he started rapping, I kind of got a little bit lost, And it seems like, I mean, of course, it required, Private Party and they're nowhere to be found because Stokely said that they're training at his facility or his wrestling school so that they can hone their wrestling skills as if they're not already amazing talents anyway.
Right.
And so basically they're just saying that, well, you know what, you guys not going to be on TV, you're going to be on Dark, so that's where you're going to be at. And Matt is just like rapping, and I can't even remember what he said, but he was just like, see you on Monday, guys. And it's just like, okay. I don't know where this is going. I really don't. I really can't say I know where this is going, but it's just really interesting to me. I will say that. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. But, we're going to keep Matt lifted in prayer. We'll just keep him lifted. We'll keep him lifted with good energy, good vibes, and prayers if you believe in that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving forward, we got this beautiful moment. Except it wasn't Penelope Ford versus Willow Nightingale. It was actually Layla Gray versus Willow Nightingale because Penelope Ford is injured, so she couldn't compete. So
Mm-hmm.
Layla Gray took her place as one of the baddies and stuff. And Willow came out with her beautiful purple loving self. And this match, I think across the board tonight, you can say that the women had time. And in this match, they had way more time than you're sort of expecting from your regular Rampage women's match. And I am so, so happy they did. This match was really good for the most part. You had Layla Gray having some offense early on and basically trying to get in the head and mess up Willow Nightingale, but Willow was powering out of a lot of things. She lifted her a couple of times and actually slammed her down. She was tackling her, and I was just like, "Come on, Willow, tackle this heifer, tackle her in the most respectful way. Just tackle her and I love Willow." So I was just happy to see her, have all this action going on. But then as she got stomped out and stuff, there was another point where she also got distracted by Kiera Hogan, and then she got kicked outside of the ring. Once they went to picture in picture, and then Layla was taking advantage of that. But then once they came back from commercial, Willow was able to turn it around, even though Kiera was still trying to distract, but then Willow was actually able to distract Layla Gray and push her, and allow her to push Kiera down. And then after that point, she took advantage and hit a slam in order to win her match. So Willow won on television, and but I'll talk about how I really feel about it. And then after she won her match, Tony Schiavone came in the ring, and she shook his hand, and Tony Schiavone made the announcement and said that Willow Nightingale is officially all elite. And y'all, if you are of the indies and if you know this woman, you understand the big deal that this is, because she had been wrestling with them for the past few months, but at the same time no one was really sure if she really was going to sign with them or not. Like, you never really know, in the wrestling business. But seeing her get this moment on live television at that, because this was a live Rampage, seeing her get this opportunity and them broadcasting it on this level was such a huge deal. And she is a woman of color, so to see this happen, and this happening the same year, like, I actually met her and was able to call her action as a part of Thick and Juicy 2.0, with Brooke Valentine at Black Girl Magic 2 in Brooklyn, New York. Like, that meant the world to me. And to see her rise and fight also at Jobber Slam 2, and now to see her get signed was just a beautiful moment indeed. And I am so proud of her. I'm so happy for her. So, San, how did you feel about this match, and how do you feel about Willow getting her moment in the sun on a live Rampage?
Right. The match, it was really good, honestly. I mean, I feel like to go back to even just like Penelope Ford, I mean, she was recently gone for a while because she was injured, and now she's re-injured again. So it's just like, I don't know what's necessarily going to happen with Penelope Ford or where her career lies within AEW, because she just managed to just get injured once again. In regards to Layla Gray, I think a lot of people sleep on Layla Gray. She's a really great wrestler. She's for God's sake, she's holding the OVW Women's Champion, in a different promotion. She's a great talent, a great wrestler, and someone like Willow Nightingale, who has been working for a very, very long time. I got introduced to Willow because I saw her on ROH. And from since then, I have watched this woman grown to like her a lot, become a fan of her and her work, and how, like, the presence that Willow Nightingale has as a baby face, a lot of people don't have that. You know what I'm saying? She can be very bubbly, but she can also get in there and beat your ass too. I remember watching a match of her that she had with Deonna Purrazzo in Impact for like a Deonna Champ Challenge. She took Deonna's an amazing wrestler, but Willow Nightingale took Deonna to like a whole another level with the match. And to see her finally make the decision to want to sign with AEW, since she's kind of been working alongside with them, is no surprising. I'm extremely excited for her. I'm extremely happy. I even tweeted out, "Let's go!" So happy for Willow. It's amazing for her to want to work with AEW, and I'm ready to see where her career goes in AEW. Maybe, although she signed with AEW, maybe they'll have her do some things in ROH. I mean, Final Battle was just announced recently, and it's going to take place in December. So, I mean, maybe somewhere down the line, ROH may get a TV deal or something like that, or whatever they choose to do, and make a weekly show, and maybe Willow will do some things over there while continuing to build a career at AEW. But I mean, I'm excited for her. I'm happy for her. Shout out to Willow, man. Like, she's definitely one to definitely watch out for. I tell you that much.
And they better do her right.
They better do it right, please. Like,
and we'll just leave it at that. They better do her right. Otherwise, we coming.
We riot.
Mm-hmm. But moving forward, after this moment took place, Tony and Willow left the ring, and you had the baddies in the middle of the ring, and then Jade Cargill came out after that point and sat in the middle of the ring and basically, stated her case and said that she was going to sit there in the ring until Nyla Rose gave her her title back. But in the midst of all of that, on another video, on a vignette, well, not a vignette, you saw Nyla Rose singing in the car that they left the keys in. This was Jade Cargill's rental car, I believe is what she said.
Mm-hmm.
She was insulting her and singing to her, and basically said that she had stolen her car and that she still has her title, and she's gonna, I forgot most of what she said. But a lot of it was just very trolly, and she was really making fun of the entire situation. And she drove away with her car, and the baddies were really upset about that. And Jade really sent the baddies out to try to like get her or whatever. But I'm like, girl, what is that gonna do? She's
Yeah,
rolling away in a car, and you guys are inside the building. Like, what is that gonna do? And then Jade
unless they can
proceeded to
run
take
fast.
more, huh?
I said, unless they can run fast.
Right. And then they have on heels and gear too. Like that's not gonna work. But then Jade also proceeded to take out her frustrations out on security again, which never stops being entertaining because that woman just destroys everyone. But yeah, that's pretty much what that segment was. It was really funny. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I loved all of this, you know, close to main event time being filled with women. You had all this time, you had a special moment with one girl, and it was just a lot going on. So I really enjoyed all of this having to do with the women. I enjoyed it. So
Yeah,
Sam, how did you feel about the Nyla segment with Jade?
I've been enjoying this ever since Nyla ran off with the title. And it's been hilarious. It's been so funny. And it just seems as if like Nyla is really just working her way up to get up under the skin of Jade Cargill to the point where she's trying to get her title back. She's been working on trying to get her title back, and Nyla is holding it hostage, claiming that she is the real TBS champion, having matches on Dark with the title, on Rampage with the title, and literally got
Showing up
her
at
name.
signings with the title too.
Literally, like has the name in her on her Twitter page, as TBS champion DJ Nyla Rose. So like all of this is so hilarious, and like I said, I'm enjoying the build up. I'm enjoying the story that they're building surrounding this, with Nyla and Jade. And like Joseph said, Nyla will get her shot at Full Gear. I mean, if she does get a shot at Full Gear, because it seems like this is where it's going to go. I'm excited for it. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm definitely excited for this match with Nyla and Jade. I will say that.
I am too. Like I'm really excited for it. I just love this and I just love how all of these girls just got the time. Like I just really enjoy it and I want more of it, across all of their shows, on the YouTube shows, definitely on Dynamite and definitely on Rampage continuously. So this was great. I enjoyed it. It gets an A plus plus from me. And congratulations to Willow again because we freaking love you. All right.
Woo! Shout out to Willow.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. All right. So moving towards the main event, we had the Dark Order's 10 Preston Vance versus Orange Cassidy, the AEW All Atlantic champion, a new one at that, versus Roosh. So there was a segment involving them backstage that had to do with Orange Cassidy challenging them. And when Mark Henry asked him, in their interview, why did he challenge him? And Orange was like, because I felt like it. And it was just so funny. And I'm just like, you are just the most nonchalant man on the planet. I love it. It's just so funny. So after, and then Orange low key tried to take Mark Henry's place by saying, well, it looks like there's been enough talk. And Mark was like, first of all, no, that's not even your line. That is not your slogan. Okay. So be quiet. So he was just like, it looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. And then they went to it. So this match was pretty insane and pretty intense. And also shout out to Dark Orders 10 for actually bringing out -1 because we always love to see him. And we love to see that he's doing okay, of course, in his life. So shout out to him. And hopefully he'll be a future champion at some point if he does decide to pursue wrestling because he is indeed still young and he has choices. But yeah, shout out to him. And so this match was pretty crazy. Like there were lots of spots outside of the ring. There were moments where Ten and Rouge actually crashed Orange Cassidy or tried to crash him through a table and didn't break.
Mhm.
Um there were of course moments where Orange Cassidy was jumping all over the place, all over his other two opponents. Rouge was being really aggressive in this match. Like it was just like a really good triple threat match for this title. Like it was just really, rough and really crazy. But in the midst of it all, Orange Cassidy wound up winning the match and he retained his All Atlantic Championship. Um, so that's pretty much what happened there. And then Danhausen was out there too. I forgot about him. He actually
Yeah.
cursed. Yeah, he actually cursed Jose, and that was fun. And then he kicked him in the privates too. It's just I feel like kicking people or stomping people in the nuts today was just really a theme. So we
Yeah.
bookended it with that. So that was really fun. So yeah.
Listen,
And San, how did you feel about this match?
you open up the show with crushing nuts and you end the show with crushing nuts. I don't know. It was a crazy. It was a crazy show for Rampage tonight, and I thought maybe it was like pre-recorded or something, but to know that it was live, I think that's great. I feel like if they could do their shows live, especially for certain things, I think it'd be great. It cuts down on the spoilers and things like that. But nonetheless, Orange Cassidy, he just won his title. Wasn't expecting him to lose it. But this is a great way to close out the show. All three of these guys are very different, have very different styles of wrestling that they have. All three of them do. And so it was quite entertaining. It was very much fast paced. Although, despite all of the other things that was happening around the ring with Danhausen, and so on and so forth. And, child, I was just kind of like when he came out with the best friends, I'm like, are you trying to replace Chris Statlander? What are we doing? Why are you here? But it was just like, what is that housing? I wasn't really expecting him to pop up here with them. But shout out to Orange Cassidy for retaining his title. At first, this is actually supposed to be a one-on-one between was it Rouge and Dark Orders. What's his name?
10.
Yeah, 10. It was supposed to be a match with just those two, and then they turned it into a triple threat match. Because that's what they had previously announced for it. And then they made a triple threat match. So I mean, hey, every chance you get, if you're holding the title in AEW, best believe you're gonna defend your title every week. So somehow, some way, you're gonna be defending your title. So if you choose to come up into this title picture, somehow, some way, and become a champion, you're gonna defend your title. And for this to be Orange Cassidy's first title defense since winning the title, I think is great. Excited to see more of what he, accomplished with this title. Ready to see other opponents that he faced. Where this, like, if he's gonna have a long feud that leads up to Full Gear that's coming up real soon, or is he gonna, is there gonna be, what is there gonna happen for him, and what's gonna happen for Rouge, and even 10 as well. So I mean, it was a really good match. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and that's how you close out Rampage, to be honest.
Yeah. And yeah, it was a really good match to close out this live show. It was great. And that ended the show properly, but then of course, I don't want to necessarily end it on a somber note, but this week AEW did lose a person who was their lead video engineer, Brian Muster. He passed away, leaving behind a fiance and an unborn, I believe, baby, and was also a father to another child. So
Yeah.
we want to send our condolences to the Muster family and anyone who was close to him and anybody who worked with him as well. And they said on commentary during this match that they would rename their backstage component the Mongo position. So that will be happening, and I believe that they played a nice tribute to him at the end of the show, and they ended it with that. So we want to send a rest in peace to that gentleman, and I hope that you were loved and supported, and we continue to love and support on his family during this difficult time. So that's really the end. That was the end of Rampage.
That was, man. Wow. All these both shows are really good, I will say. A lot of things happen on both shows. Extremely interested in seeing what happens next week, even going into Dynamite. I know that the return of Riho, she's back and she's gonna be facing Jamie Hayter come Wednesday, and even Daniel Garcia and Chris Jericho are teaming up to face Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. So I mean, it's a lot of things happening on Dynamite this week, and I guess we'll figure out what's going to happen for Rampage next week as well once they announce it too. So, and I would definitely be here, and Stephanie would be here as well to talk about these things, man. You know, me and Stephanie, we were here together for however, whenever, you know, we're not, you know, handling business in other parts of our life and things like that. So, just said I agree with Stephanie. Thoughts and prayers with his family. I read an article he passed on Wednesday, so everybody did a great job considering their thoughts with where the Bryant's family. True, that is very, very true. And wishing a lot of positive energy and prayers to Hangman Adam Page. He suffered a concussion on Tuesday with his match with John Moxley. It's kind of sad they had to kind of stop the match in the middle, but he did tweet out and said that he was doing really well. And he should be back really soon, and maybe him and Moxley will be able to, you know, run it back, you know, again and everything like that. So wishing Hangman Page a speedy recovery, but that's pretty much the end of this show here, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us in here, JD. Let's go to the comments to kind of give you guys a shout out for those who are here. Joseph, of course, Jalen. I saw Ricky in here, JD, of course. Aaron was in here. And I think I ended up seeing the Broken Tables podcast in here too. So thank you guys, everyone, for hanging out with us on this Friday going into Saturday, because it is Halloween Havoc Day. And of course, there will be a post show happening with Stephanie, TK, and Al. These ladies will be covering the Halloween Havoc post show. So make sure you guys check out for the Instagram and socials of when that's going to be happening and taking place, the time, so that you guys can be here to discuss Halloween Havoc, because hopefully Melo comes home with that three-peat, you know what I'm saying, that three-time North American champion. Hopefully, I don't know, but I'm always rooting for Melo. Hopefully we may get a new women's NXT champion. I'm definitely rooting for Alba Fyre to dethrone Mandy Rose. I will say that. Other than that, I know that triple threat match with Braun, JD, and Dragunov is gonna go crazy.
It is.
That's a match there that I really do want to see, and I know it. I just know it's gonna be good. I'm excited to see that match, but definitely be here for the post show happening later on today, because today is Saturday. Make sure you guys check out the website as well. We got articles going out every day. Make sure you check out Stephanie's article that she dropped today, top 5 Zelina Vega moments. So make sure you check out that. Check out any other articles that we do have dropping every day. Make sure you guys go back and watch all of our post shows. We have different shows happening each and every day except for on the weekend. Turnbuckle Glam will be returning this Sunday, so make sure you guys tune in for that. And then, of course, Monday Night Raw post show, and the news. And I think on Tuesdays you guys do WoW, or you do WoW on Mondays?
We do WoW on Mondays.
Okay.
At 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central.
Got it. So WoW is happening on Mondays. So we got 3 shows happening on Monday. No shows on Tuesdays. Wednesday we have, of course, AEW Dynamite with the Dynamite Dolls, and of course the WT Live News. On Thursdays we have the NXT post show. We have the return of Creek Squad, and then of course close out your Thursdays with the Salt Shakers, Nikki and I taking over Impact Wrestling, and then we'll be back again next week for another edition of SmackDown and a Rampage post show with, of course, us here, Stephanie and myself. Make sure you guys follow us on all social media platforms at WWE Talk Pod or at Women's Wrestling Talk, everywhere. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well. TikTok, we do have a TikTok account. Make sure you guys check out that too. And yeah, that's about it. Stephanie, won't you let everyone know where they can keep up with you at and everything like that?
Well, of course, you can follow me, your girl Stephanie Hardy, on Instagram and Twitter at Queen Steph Hardy. The Hardy Wrestling Podcast is still very much up. You can still subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Hardy Wrestling Podcast, and listen to my past episodes, on every other platform. You can listen to audio podcasts as well. And even though I'm on hiatus right now for my show, I'm still under construction so my show can continue to evolve into its best self. So please be on the lookout for that. Also, be on the lookout for the MCM Comic-Con that's taking place in Birmingham, UK, in November. Me and our fellow co-host Katrina Blake of In Cat We Trust, and so many other gifted women of color in wrestling will be participating in that panel, talking about what it's like to be a woman of color in wrestling. So more details should be out about that later. But if you follow Katrina at In Cat We Trust, there will be more information on that, but please support us in that as well. And you can continue to watch the New York Comic-Con panel that we did do on her YouTube channel at In Cat We Trust as well. So really, that's all I've got going on. But continue to follow and support your girl at Queen Steph Hardy, and read my article, because I put a lot of love into the top 5 Zelina Vega moments article. It was so fun to write, and I was so happy to write it, and I'm so happy it came out today. So please check that out on www.talkpod.com, please. So yeah.
Yes. And of course, as for me, Drian Santana, this is not my Instagram or Twitter handle anymore. Things have changed. I'm really diving into the holistic side of me. Of course, Stephanie tries to bring out the baby face in me, but it's just I have to cut it thin a little bit sometimes.
Let it fly.
I have to cut him like nah. But you guys can definitely, of course, still Google me, Drian Santana, DriuneSantana, on the Google, and that's where you're gonna find me. You can catch me hosting things here on the Women's Wrestling Talk. You can catch me taking some photos on my Instagram as well, at Holistic Muse on Instagram, at Holistic on Twitter. Doing some things over there as well. Gearing up for the NWA show that's happening next month. I will be going to the NWA Hard Times 3 show and Revolution show happening on November the 12th and the 13th. I'll be going there. And that's pretty much going to be happening for me for wrestling shows. Maybe for right now. Don't really know what I'm going to do in December. Might go to a SmackDown show. Might go to a super show, who knows? But yeah, that's about it. But once again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here on Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, y'all.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.